Hi and welcome to the screencast. I'm your host Mohammad Azam, and in this particular video I will show you how you can use Cucumber to write behavior-driven development test to test your .NET CLR assembly. Okay, so it starts with a feature file, which is a normal text file. I have a prime service feature over here, and basically we're testing that if a number is prime or not. Okay. The format that I'm going to use to write in a file is called the gherkin format, and you can check it out online. So let's start with the feature. The feature is to find if the number is prime or not. Okay, if you have done any programming with fit or fit needs, then it's kind of similar to that, but you can of course use it for acceptance tests. You can use it to test your domain model. You can test pretty much everything, but I think I should use it. I would use it for acceptance testing. All right. Now feature, and then I can also type something over here like a description of the feature as a crazy person. I need to find if the number is prime or not. Okay. Then come the scenario outline. Okay, so scenario outline is to find prime or not. Then we have given. Okay, when, then. So given is that I have a number. When I press the add button, it can be any button, okay, then I should know if the number is prime, if the result, but I should, well, you can say then it should display a result indicating the number is prime or not. Okay, so I have a number, and the number is in kind of like in square this particular syntax, less than greater than, because it's still variables that are going to be substituted. Examples, we also have examples. Okay, so I can actually say, okay, we have a number bar, we have a result, and it has to be in bar. So let's start with 1. So if I'm sending 1, it should return me what? False, right? Because 1 is not a prime number. And if I have 2, it should be false. If I have 3, it should be true, because 3 is a prime number. So these are some of the examples data that will be substituted over here. Okay, so after you have created your feature file, which is basically just a text file with a .feature extension, you will work on the prime service steps. It's a good idea to just copy these things. Okay, if I go to prime service, I have already included Ruby gems, spec expectation, and I have a path to my business objects DLL, which is in a different project, and I've included the business namespace. So if I simply just save the project and I go ahead and run it, and I run it by iCucumber features prime service feature, and no color means that I'm not using any color because it's not supported with the command line over here. iCucumber is simply a batch file which is placed right at the position where the Cucumber is placed for the Ruby MRI framework, which is the Ruby implementation, and it simply calls the Ruby one, okay, the Cucumber one. Okay, so you see that when I run this and I don't have any code to test against, so it will generate the steps for me. Okay, so it has generated a couple of steps for me. It has taken all the inputs and it generated all the steps for me. So you can copy and paste that, but since the 1 and the numbers are actually the variables, you want to create a common behavior between them. So I'm just going to copy all of that. So given that I have a number, I'm going to put that in a semicolon, I mean the quotations, and then I can say, okay, that I have a number, do, and then the number, end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the number, the past number, which you have already described in the example, into a number variable, and then you will saying that when I press a button, you want to do something. So what I want to do is I want to say prime service.isPrime, and I want to pass in the number. So this particular number is basically a class level variable, or it's a variable that will be visible to everyone. Before I do that, I need to define the prime service. Before do this, it is a capital, so don't make it small, it won't work. Prime service equal to prime service dot new. So new prime service, it will be executed before all of the other code that has been executed. I'm going to store the result in a result variable, and when sending the variable, everything is string, so I need to convert it to integer, which I'm going to do with to_i method, and then it should display result. I don't really care what it displays, I mean what format it uses. And if you go to your feature file, you can also use the regular expressions to indicate everything. So I'm going to say, okay, result over here and end. And basically what I'm saying that remember that everything is string that's returned to. I have to this return is boolean, or a different value of 1 and 0 kind of stuff, and not string. So I have to convert it to string dot should equal to result. So basically what we did is we copied all the features that we have into a Ruby file, and we are using those features to run our test. So our tests are going to use a text or use a feature that you wrote with the client or the customer, and they're going to run the test. Okay, let's go ahead and run the test again. Now it takes some time to actually run the test, and it takes some time to be familiar with the Cucumber framework. It really depends if you are in those kind of testings, customer related test. I do find it very helpful, although it is kind of very hard to track down a problem if the problem actually occurs in the file. Okay, so here we go. Basically what we are saying over here is that to find the number, and everything is actually kind of like passing, but of course this is not true, because I'm just checking for if number is 3, then return true, else false. So at the end, if I just go over here and compile my project, and then go and run it again, you will see that the 1 and 2 will actually fail because it should be returning false, but I purposely return true value. Okay. Now you can also export your result if you don't want to see like this. You can also, and you should, export your result to an HTML file. You can actually see that it actually failed, and it will tell you that expected false but got true for this one. Okay, and you can of course export your results. So if you do want to export your results, I would say format and HTML, and you can say my file.html. So this will export the result in the same directory, which is a testing directory, and it will export your result. Yet it is actually convenient if you do export your result and make this a part of your build framework. So when that test actually runs, it creates the HTML file, and then you can show that HTML file to the client or the customer that which tests are actually failing and which tests are actually passing. So it's a good framework. It needs a little bit of work on your part to understand the language, and once you're all set with it, I think it's a very useful tool in writing a BDD driven customer test. Hope you like this video, and thank you very much.